Greetings, salutations to Safe to Serve International and first-time viewers. Welcome to this midday power surge. This is your spiritual oasis on this pilgrim journey. I'm your host, Andrew Henriquez, on this Friday, January 19th. Welcome one, welcome all to this midday power surge. We're now streaming live here on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, as well as on Twitter. If you're being blessed, subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share so others can be enlightened that God's movement here, which you are a part of, can be an instrument of good, an instrument of protest, an instrument of deliverance, yea, an instrument of preparation for these last days. Let's get right into it. It's preparation day. And when the sun sets, the Lord's Sabbath begins in a few hours. Well, friends, I must confess, personally, I choose not to meddle in politics because of my Christian faith and my biblical beliefs. I said that because I'm going to be addressing some pertinent current events that relate to politics. In John chapter 18 and verse 36, Jesus says, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, then my servants would fight." So I don't meddle in politics. On the other hand, I have a biblical mandate to observe politics, observe events happening in the political circle, realm, and spheres. Why? Because many of those events are fulfilling end-time prophecy. Let me convince you with one more tool. Have you ever realized the prophecy in Daniel chapter 2 in relation to the image that Nebuchadnezzar saw in vision? That image, that composite, preacher, that image speaking about the head of gold, the chest and arms of silver, the belly and thighs of brass, legs of iron, feet of iron and clay, and the stone that smites that image. Do you realize that this is all about politics? It's kings ruling, kings overthrowing other kingdoms. Daniel chapter 2 and verse 21, where Jesus says, "I set up kings and I remove kings." As a result, I have a biblical mandate from God to observe what is transpiring now. Well, the stage is set. The table is set. Let's feast from the Lord's table, shall we? A few days ago, Trump won the Iowa caucus. And then he made this particular statement, quote, "I will protect Americans from the implementation of CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency." Before I play this, he actually said, "I promise to do this." Don't forget what I'm about to say. Have you ever heard of this colloquial saying, "A promise is a comfort to a fool"? Here's the clip.
And tonight I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will...
It's a promise. And remember, if you have not heard of that colloquial saying, you should have heard of this. In Psalm 146 and verse number 3, the Bible says, "Put not your trust in princes." Princes, rulers, presidents, kings, prime ministers, governors, etc. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 5 says, "Cursed be the man that trusts in man and make flesh his arm." Here is Trump one more time. "I promise I would never do this." Now, notice, promise to separate promise to preserve Americans from tyranny. Look at this. When I heard that, my antennas were raised, elevated. Yes, we're told in Testimonies for the Church, Volume 5, page 711, who is that tyrannical organization in the last days? It's Popery. Feedback? Is something playing? All right. Clip number 2, there it is. Great controversy, page 564. Popery. This is tyranny. So could it be a fulfillment of prophecy? I promise I will protect and preserve Americans from tyranny. Listen.
And tonight, I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Do you know about that?
A central bank digital currency. We need to ask the question, why would Trump make that statement, that promise, campaign promise? Why? It's because his base, GOP, many of them realize that the CBDC is a tool of tyranny. Government control, government enslavement. But not only the base, the GOP, there are people that they call in the middle, some independent. People are waking up and they realize that these policies which have ensued since the pandemic are extremely diabolical. People are waking up. CBDC tyranny. Now, I need to be balanced and be objective. It was the same Trump in the height of the pandemic, March 11, 2020, and thereafter, that launched Operation Warp Speed. What was that about? That was the implementation, manufacturing, and distribution of the inoculation, the prick. And those policies gave the civilians, residents, citizens no choice in the matter. To say one, you must say the other. If not, you are partisan. And I am not partisan. I am a Christian. Amen. Why CBDC is linked to tyranny? Catherine Fitz, speak to us. Listen.
And the reality, as the financial system gets more controlling and more invasive, it's a little bit like bringing up a corral around us. And CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and vaccine passports or digital IDs are sort of the last shutting of the gate.
Clip 2. Listen.
I think it's very hard for people who've grown up and enjoyed Western liberty and human liberty to imagine literally that we're going into a system where literally our homes, our cars, our communities become digital concentration camps.
My friends, the CBDC is linked to what? A digital concentration camp. CBDC is what I call the money of the beast, with the acronym MOB, money of beast. There it is. Which will lead to the mark of the beast. Sunday worship by law with persecution, fulfilling Revelation 13, verse 15 through verse 17. All right, there it is. And what has been Satan's plan? To enslave and make people prisoners. Isaiah 14. Verse 12 through verse 17. And who has been the backbone of the slave trade? Popery. So could it be the statement that was made, I promise to protect Americans from tyranny, the CBDC. I promise to protect Americans from popery? It's a question I'm asking based on the surface. But remember, on the other hand, it's politics. And politics is also akin to politricks. Here it is. Revelation 18. And what has been the modus operandi of Popery, to use money, use merchandise to enslave individuals physically, mentally, financially, socially, and spiritually. Enslave their souls and bodies. That's Bible. Okay? Come back to Trump. And then I'm going to launch into something else. Listen.
And tonight, I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Do you know about that?
You know, friends, time will tell, right? Time will tell. And for people who say, once you are a president, that means you have sold your souls out, you know nothing of Bible truth. Nothing. Because God has men in high places that will hold back the winds of strife. And by the way, if it weren't for them, God's people, majority, would be taken by surprise. It's right here in the book Great Controversy, the chapter entitled Impending Conflict. Rulers holding back those principles. Well, here is a video clip of a panel discussion there as it relates to the Davos meeting in Switzerland, the World Economic Forum, the New World Order platform. One panelist said, the next president should make a list of all the agenda items that is being promoted by the WEF and tell Americans that he is going to reject all of them. Wholesale rejection. Listen.
Is destroying the grasp that political elites and unelected technocrats have over the average person. And if I may, I will be candid and say that the agenda that every single member of the administration needs to have is to compile a list of everything that's ever been proposed at the World Economic Forum and object all of them wholesale.
Mm-hmm. So let's connect the dots. So when Trump said, I promise to preserve you from tyranny and the CBDC, which organizations are promoting the implementation of CBDC? Popery, the WHO, the UN, and the WEF. It's right there now. The Jesuits. And what other agenda items is coming from the WEF? Climate change. And what is Trump also saying? He's against the policies to combat climate change. And what has WEF stated? Welcome to 2030. You'll own nothing and be happy. Vehicle, food, everything is based on subscription. You own nothing. Come to the government. You become a pauper. Even homes, appliances. There it is. Welcome to 2030. That's it. Yes, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Nothing. This is slavery. This is tyranny. All right. And which organization is promoting tyranny that despises the principles of liberty enshrined in the U.S. Constitution? It is Popery. It's right there in their encyclical. Do you see the point now? You have Pope Francis and the Jesuit general, a.k.a. the Black Pope. There they are, shaking hands. To overthrow Protestantism. All right, let's get back. Listen.
Compile a list of everything that's ever been proposed at the World Economic Forum and object all of them wholesale. Anyone not prepared to do that and take away this power of the unelected bureaucrats and give it back to the American people is unprepared to be part of the next conservative administration.
Okay, that's very clear.
Do you know what I see, friend? As I see these influential men and other common men addressing these issues, they are seeing these policies are tyrannical and they are protesting. They are remonstrating. These things remind me that these are evidences that there is a spiritual struggle going on, a spiritual war going on. And that struggle and war is for freedoms. It's for liberty of conscience. I'm going to beseech you again to get back to the book, The Great Controversy, chapter 11, entitled Protest of the Princes. Those rulers in Germany, in the old world of Europe, they were seeing the policies from the government. Those policies came from the Roman Catholic Church to control, oppress, enslave the masses, and they were protesting, from which we derive the term Protestantism. But they didn't have all the light. Those princes had to unite providentially with Martin Luther. Is God raising up a dream team again? Uniting in spirit and in truth? Here is John Kerry. His statements show that he has an acrimonious relationship with Trump. On the surface, it seems, that is my operative statement. On the surface, it seems, I trust no man. Count no man in, count no man out. But on the surface, it seems that we're seeing a struggle between slavery and liberty. I wonder which one on the surface would be promoting slavery and the agenda of tyranny. Which one on the surface seems to be promoting liberty? Clip one. Jesuitism, that's it. Black Pope and the Pope of Rome. Watch this.
You know, it's absolutely critical that we accelerate. I am convinced.
And friends, hold on, friends. I want everybody to listen to what John Kerry is going to state. He's going to say, no president can stop the coming New World Order. This came out 2 days ago. How many days ago? 2 days. No president can stop it. Why? Because he said this agenda is being executed by the marketplace. Marketplace? Market. Does that sound like merchants? I'll come back to that. Look at John Kerry's body language. Why does he scratch his nose? Telltale sign? Watch this.
You know, it's absolutely critical that we accelerate. I am convinced beyond any doubt that because of the decisions being made in the marketplace now, because, I mean, you know as well as I do, even if, you know, I don't want this, obviously, but if you wound up with a different president who was opposed to climate crisis, I got news for you. No one politician anywhere in the world can undo what is happening now. The marketplace is doing this.
The marketplace is in control. Who is he talking about? Contextually. All right. Why is it we must pay attention to these words? The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So let them speak so we can understand where we are based on the process of end time prophecy. Why the merchants? Why must we focus on this? Marketplace is in control. Look at the screen. Don't trust those who scratch their nose. It's a sign that you cannot trust them. They're telling a lie. They're being disingenuous. They're being deceptive. Scratching the nose. The merchants, Revelation 18, verse 2 and verse 3. Babylon, yes, makes the merchants rich. Babylon, don't forget that, controls the merchants. And Babylon and her allies create world crises and then present some solutions. For what purpose? So nations and people can buy the merchandise. Revelation 18. Buy the merchandise that they're selling, and the merchants can then become rich. Babylon, Popery, is the merchant's cash cow. And that's why leaders and merchants turn a blind eye at Popery's crimes. And who is Babylon? The mother of harlots, mother of pedophilia, mother of sodomy, mother of kleptomaniacs. Who is Babylon? It's Popery. Yes, so no one president can stop this agenda. Do you see why now? Because Babylon, with her merchants, are in charge. Back to John Kerry. He says, we will enact climate laws. You cannot stop it.
I got news for you. No one politician anywhere in the world can undo what is happening now. The marketplace is doing this. And the only issue
Stop right there. Beloved, allow me to interject before I give you the full clip. All right? Think about this. No one president can stop the agenda of the WEF, WHO. Who voted for them? Not one of us. I don't vote, based on the Bible. But who put them in power? Who? And yet, they can enact laws to overthrow national sovereignty? Unelected bureaucrats. Kerry said, no one president can stop the agenda. The stripping away of national liberty, individual liberty. Question now, who votes for a president? The people. So the president is to promote the agenda of the people. He serves the people. Do you see my point now? So this agenda of the WEF, WHO, Popery supersedes the will of the people in their country. You see that, my friends? And that's what John Kerry is telling you. Indirectly, he's telling you this, that national liberty is a thing of the past. Individual sovereignty and liberty is a thing of the past. You can't stop this. So why vote? Why vote? All right, move on. Here it is.
I got news for you. No one politician anywhere in the world can undo what is happening now. The marketplace is doing this. And the only issue for all of us is not whether or not we can get or will get to a low-carbon, no-carbon economy globally. We will. The only question is, will we get there in time to meet the challenge of the scientists in order to avoid the worst consequences of this crisis? That is what is at stake.
Stop. So, for example, the people vote, we want a president that will not support CBDC. But in a crisis globally, WEF, UN, Pope, and WHO say every nation must implement CBDC. You see my point? The people vote, we want a president that will not support a digital ID, a pestilence prick. But the WHO, UN, WEF, Pope, Jesuits say, force every nation, every prime minister, every governor, every chancellor, every prince, every queen, every king, every president. Yes. Implement this agenda. What happens to the will of the people? The will of the people is subverted, superseded. The will of the people is trampled underfoot. Liberty of conscience is at stake. What laws are connected to combating climate change? Here's the Pope of Rome. He says, listen, we want ecological conversion in the next 7 years. Ecological conversion by 2030. And what is ecological conversion? Enforcing Sabbath laws, no buying, no selling. What Sabbath laws based on Popery? It is Sunday law. No buy or sell on Sunday. All right. And John Kerry says, we must accelerate this. A few seconds. Listen again.
You know, it's absolutely critical that we accelerate.
What? accelerate. Watch this, my friends. There it is. We need to accelerate implementing policies to combat climate change, famine, economic crisis, diseases in the next 7 years. Accelerate. And we're told the year 2023 is year 1 of the new world order. It's time to accelerate. Here is the theme of our message right now. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are you ready?
And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order?
And here is Trump. He stated, I promise I will protect Americans from tyranny, from CBDC. Tyranny and CBDC in the same breath. What a contrast with the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the UN's champion boy, the Pope's champion boy, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, promoting a digital-only society without choice, without option, CBDC. Listen, with digital ID. Then he mentions we need to accelerate this process. It's the same language. They're reading from the same Playbook of Jesuits. Clip 1.
In the coming weeks I'll be making certain announcements regarding the acceleration of Jamaica's intention to become a fully digital society. We are well on our way to this. We have established the national identification system.
Listen.
We have put in place our digital currency.
Yes.
We have given directions to our ministries
That's
to
it.
digitalize.
And first, this is not, listen, I'm not going to say more than that. I've covered that not infrequently, but ad nauseum. Let me return to John Kerry. It's not the first time he responds challenging Trump publicly. Recently, he said, responding to a question of the prospect of Trump returning and winning the presidency in America, he quibbled, he laughed publicly and said, I don't think so. Watch his body language. Here it is. What are they? Give it to me. Here it is. Listen.
So in the time we have left, I'd like to talk about the future. So you can feel American leadership at this, at this COP. We've made progress. But hanging over all of this, of course, is the prospect of Donald Trump coming back into the White House next year.
That hangover? I don't think so.
That's journalistic license.
Yes. All right, clip 2. Continue.
I don't think so.
That's journalistic license. If he gets in, the prospect, there's this prospect that all of this could be for naught. So that begs perhaps an awkward and difficult question. How good is the word of the United States on the international stage at this point?
I think it's 100% good, and I
Listen.
think that nightmarish prospect, I'm not allowed to comment on politics, actually, so I shouldn't.
Well, I'm not stopping you. I'm sure the room would love to hear
You'd love
all
it.
of your thoughts.
My body language was enough of a...
Yeah.
My what?
Folks, no, I am not worried. Honestly, could he or someone else who doesn't want to listen to the science, who doesn't read about it and doesn't care about the facts, have an impact? Sure. But they're not going to turn this around. They're not going to stop this. I will
Stop
say
what?
to you,
Stop.
they're not going to stop what is happening on a global basis. This economic transformation is going to be the biggest transformation in human history.
Enough. You can't stop it. And the point I'm driving home, let me get that clip. Let me emphasize my date, preacher, please. That's December 5th, 2023. The previous one was a few days ago, January 15th, 17th, 2024. similar statements with a few days, a few weeks elapsing between them. This is a spiritual crisis that we're in. My friend, have you ever heard the colloquial saying, birds of a feather flock together? Watch this.
You're on a very important mission here to Europe. Can you tell us why is it important to include a visit with the Pope during your visit to Europe to talk about climate change?
Well, the Pope is one of the great voices of reason and compelling moral authority on the subject of the climate crisis. He's been ahead of the curve. He's been a leader. His encyclical Laudato Si is really a very, very powerful document.
Laudato Si? What is in Laudato Si to combat climate change? Sunday worship by law. That's it. That's it. Birds of a feather flock together. And remember, he belongs to the secret society, Skull and Bones, which if you follow the breadcrumbs, you'll find yourself to the Vatican, Jesuitism. All roads lead to Rome. At this time, I'm going to post a poll question because I don't want this point to be forgotten. I want it to leave an indelible mark upon your minds. All right? Now, preacher, please launch the poll, the question. All right? And please answer the question of the poll in the poll. All right? Not in the comment section. It's posted. It says, question, this king began the process to deliver the Hebrews from slavery in Babylon, slavery in Persia, so the Hebrews could return and rebuild their temple in Jerusalem. Which king was this? You have four options. Option A, Nebuchadnezzar. Option B, Xerxes. Option C, Cyrus. Option D, Ahasuerus. I'll give you a few seconds to answer this poll question. And allow me to set something up here, friends. Very, very important. Do you realize how John Kerry said it's time to accelerate? And even the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, said it's time to accelerate?
You know, it's absolutely critical that we accelerate.
Come back. Accelerate? My friends, where are they going? Where are they accelerating to? Where is this train bandwagon going? We're told in the book Early Writings, page 88, that they are traveling at lightning speed to perdition. That's where they're going. That's where they're accelerating to. And I beg you, get off the train. Get off the train. Get off the train. All right, allow me to move away from this now. And here is a statement from the Pope praising Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum for their objective to implement the New World Order agenda, control, and to enslave the masses. Watch this.
This is John Henry Weston for LifeSite News with breaking news out of Rome, where Pope Francis has praised Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum in their pursuit of global governance.
All right. This is not breaking news for us because you're on the same team. The future is built by us, say Klaus Schwab. Enough. The Pope also said that. Prepare the future. They're on the same bandwagon, on the same train, accelerating at lightning speed, going to perdition. Clip 2. This is an archbishop that protested against the Pope on the surface. Operative word, surface.
Archbishop Carla Vago was quick to condemn this new statement from Pope Francis. Go for the full news story to lifesitenews.com, but here are the highlights.
Here it is, friends. And this is the actual article. It says, in Davos, the masters and servants of the globalist elite gather. characters who openly declare that they want to reduce the world's population. Lord have mercy on us. Through wars, famines, and organized pestilence. He posted this. Let's continue. Characters who use the complicity of our rulers, international institutions, and especially high finance and media, which are totally in their hands. You can read the second paragraph, skip on down. All right. Bergoglio, that's Pope Francis, explicitly supports the globalist coup and actively cooperates in the establishment of the new world order. All right. And then the bishop stated, Rome, last sentence, Rome will lose the faith and become the seat of the Antichrist. Published yesterday, the 17th of January, 2 days ago. Yes, that's it, friends. Now, Rome has been the seat of the Antichrist. Not will. Any will in the future is that power is going to be restored. Stop it right there. End the poll, preacher. Let's see the response and the results. Very, very important on this day of preparation, all right? So we have 45% chose option C, which is Cyrus. Friends, I have a biblical mandate. Let me talk to you for a minute here. A biblical mandate, as I bring this to a close, I'll say more tomorrow. A biblical mandate to observe the fast fulfillment of prophecy. I'll get to Cyrus shortly to confirm the answer. Hold on. Do you realize that one of the reasons why the Hebrews were enslaved in Egypt was because of a rise of a politician who became king? That is Exodus chapter 1, verse 8 through verse 14. And there arise another king who knew not Joseph, who knew not God, and enslaved the Hebrews. They had to watch current events. When did God say his people would go into slavery? All the way in Genesis. Let me stop it. I won't give it that right now. Secondly, do you realize that one of the reasons why the Hebrews were released from slavery was the rise of a politician who became king, a general who became king? His name was Cyrus. Put down Ezra, the book of Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1 through verse 3. But ladies and gentlemen and ladies, brothers and sisters, safe to serve local, safe to serve international, first-time viewers, listen attentively. Do you know the prophecy that Cyrus would become king and release the Hebrews from slavery in Babylon and Persia was actually given over a century before his birth? A century, over 100 years. Do we have prophecies written over 100 years ago? And how many people are saying they will never come to pass? But did the prophecy surrounding Cyrus come to pass? The book Great Controversy, the final edition, 1911 version, over 100 years ago. The mark of the beast is coming. Spiritualism, church and state union. Yet how many people are fast asleep? Incredulous, we don't believe that. Allow me to give you the scriptures that confirm Cyrus was named by God. His name was given 100 years before his birth. Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 28. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 1 through verse 4. He was named Cyrus, and that he would be the one to release the Hebrews from slavery and to rebuild the house of God, rebuild Jerusalem. Listen to me attentively. Was that politics? Because many folks will tell you, don't watch Safe to Serve, don't watch Prophesy Again TV. They talk too much about politics. Well, watch this. Put yourself all the way back there with the Hebrews. They're brought into captivity by Nebuchadnezzar. All right? Now watch this. They had the book of Isaiah written before. It was Isaiah who told Hezekiah, Babylon is coming. Isaiah 38. All right, watch this. Watch. They're now in captivity. If you're in slavery, would you not pray for deliverance? Would you not read God's word to find deliverance? What would they have seen in Isaiah 44 and Isaiah 45? A king is going to arise. His name is Cyrus. So for days, every election cycle, every time a king would die, they would be watching who would be the heir of the dead king. What is his name? For example, is the heir apparent King Brown Man? That's not him. We must still remain in slavery. Next cycle, is the new king King Black Man? Not the king, still remain in slavery. Is the king White Man, King Red Man, King Yellow Man? No deliverance yet. They're watching politics, current events. But what if one day they heard an heir to the throne is born in the king's palace, in the general army, and his name is Cyrus? Lord have mercy. You mean Cyrus is born? Where's my Bible? Cyrus? Cyrus? It's in the Bible. Imagine what would happen on the mind of the people. Deliverance is near. Yet people tell you, don't focus on current events. Now we must focus on it correctly. Cyrus is born. Tomorrow I'll speak more about Cyrus. Cyrus is born. Deliverance. The one who has now come to release us from slavery and to return to us liberty. That means before Cyrus came, what was the controversy in the land? Slavery versus liberty. So before the second coming of Jesus, what will be the issue in the land? What time are we living in? What time are we living in? On this preparation day, what time are we living in? I'll say more about Cyrus tomorrow. What time are we living in? What time? I'll leave it there. Meditate upon this. What prophecies have we been given? Over a century ago, are we not seeing evidences of their fulfillment? Before you go to bed tonight, when the sun sets, please read Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 through verse 19. Read every word, every phrase, every verse, and meditate upon each verse and examine yourselves. We're in a spiritual war. What war? A spiritual war. God bless until we meet again. And remember, the Lord is soon to come, and the protest continues. Happy Sabbath.